This number doesn't make sense. Nvidia is now worth over $5 trillion. Let me try and put that in a way that makes sense to our brains. There are only two countries in the world that have GDPs that are bigger than Nvidia's value right now. GDP is gross domestic product, by the way. It's one measure of the value of what a country produces. France, the UK, India, Japan, and Germany all have smaller GDPs than Nvidia's value from the other day, which was $5.04 trillion. Only China, at about $19 trillion, and the United States, at around $30 trillion, have GDPs that are higher than that. But as crazy as that is, this whole situation is much bigger than that because it's not just Nvidia. Microsoft hit $4 trillion in value over the summer, and Apple, you may not have heard this, became the third company to hit $4 trillion just the other day. It's the entire stock market, and I need you to understand just how big the stock market is getting. One way to measure how big the stock market is at any moment is something called the Buffett indicator, named after Warren Buffett. It compares the value of the total stock market to the US GDP at any given time. And before we get to today's Buffett indicator, here are the values right before some of the biggest stock market crashes in recent history, just to give you perspective. In October 2007, at the peak of the housing bubble, right before the financial crisis and the Great Recession, the Buffett indicator was 106%. So the total stock market value was more than the US's GDP at the time, 6% higher. And then afterwards, it dropped to as low as 48% in 2009. But even higher than that, let's look back to the dot-com bubble. The Buffett indicator at the peak of the dot-com bubble back in March 2000 was 143%. The total stock market value at the time was 43% higher than the US GDP at the time. So what do you think the Buffett indicator is right now? Would you guess 150%, maybe 175% even? It's more or less been steadily climbing since 2009. It hit around 200% at the end of 2021, and then it dropped back a bit. But since then, it's climbed back up, and today it sits around 225%. The value of the total stock market is now well over double the US's GDP. And here's the most troubling part to me. We can all agree that this looks like a huge bubble, but how do we know when it will end and how far it'll fall? What if it keeps going higher and higher? Will the crash be even worse? It's like a game of musical chairs, and right now the music keeps playing as long as someone keeps shoveling money into these AI companies. That's what's driving this now. These companies that are building data centers using Nvidia's GPUs, that's why Nvidia is so valuable right now. And even though the music keeps playing faster and faster, and it seems like it should stop at any moment, anyone who tells you they know exactly when the music will stop is lying to you. Except for me. Because I know that the bubble will burst on November 19th. That's Nvidia's next earnings call. I'm joking, by the way. I do not know that. This is not financial advice. But if Nvidia announces that their earnings have not grown as much as Wall Street expects, the cracks in the AI foundation could start showing, and that could be the start of the bubble bursting. I'm probably wrong, but if I'm not, so you can say I was there when Listman Guy called it. Feel free to favorite this video, follow me, share it with your grandma, and after November 19th, come back to this video and tell me how beautiful my hair was, how tall I definitely am, and that I was right. Or, more likely, make fun of me when Nvidia hits a new high of $7 trillion.